Welcome back to the grind for a quick guide on the side quest boss Sauron for week 4. So some people have been struggling with this boss because there are some nodes that make him tricky with close encounters, mighty charge, and just his ability to do high damage into the block as well as go unblockable. Now, I'm not exactly sure why he's getting so many prowesses. I don't remember him being able to get that many prowesses in his own kit, so I must be forgetting something or missing something in the nodes that's allowing him to get so many prowesses. So the typical parry heavy playstyle that otherwise would work well to limit the number of prowesses that he gets and therefore baiting out special ones that are never unblockable doesn't really work here. So you're going to have to find ways around his unblockable effect. Now, once it triggers, then it goes on cooldown for a little while, so you can actually kind of control when you trigger it. So right now it's on cooldown. That means none of his attacks can go unblockable, even though he has enough prowess effects to activate it. Another issue is there is the node can't stop, won't stop, so you don't do regular damage unless you have an unstoppable buff active, but the striker is a way to get that. The striker is also a convenient way to help push Sauron over 2 bars of power because it's a little easier to evade that special attack, but you can evade the special one like that with just one quick dex as soon as he starts to shoot that beam forward. So that is one way to do it if you do end up putting him to special one. But with the unstoppable, if you do get clipped, at least you won't get knocked down. But again, he does deal a lot of damage, and with the close encounters node, you oftentimes will be taking a little bit of degen, so it can be annoying, but you can see we did end up getting the solo here with Hulkbuster, and we did end up at about 25% health. Now, we're going to take a look at a couple other options and just touch on a few more tips for how to get around this guy. Now, I did go in with Penny Parker with the class advantage. Having the passive heal block helps to negate the little bit of healing that he does have, and then the nice incinerate damage that you can get helps to add on to it. But remember, you don't do as much damage while the unstoppable effect is no longer active. Something else you can do is bring in Howard the Duck with a synergy partner, and the synergy partner that I took was Storm Pyramid X, but there are others you can use, and this allows Howard the Duck to steal all the prowess effects from the opponent when knocking them down. So if you simply just do parry heavies, Sauron will never get enough prowess effects to go unblockable, and you won't have to worry about that, but you still have to deal with the mighty charge and close encounters nodes, which can be annoying. But you can see we're going to throw off our striker here to get the unstoppable buff so that we can start dealing some better damage. Then we're going to throw off the special 3 while that's active, and we did have some prowesses as well at the time and had some armor breaks on Sauron, so we get some okay damage off of the special 3, and then he is passively stunned for a little while, so we can then keep attacking in for a little bit there. It ended up being a really long fight in that situation, but now Cosmic Ghost Rider is an amazing option for this. One of the reasons is because you can constantly have the unstoppable buff active because he increases the duration of the buffs activated depending on how many judgments he's already triggered. So if you trigger a couple judgments and then throw off the striker, you get a very long unstoppable buff that lasts as long or longer than the cooldown is to trigger the striker again. And as you can see, this is a very, very quick takedown with Cosmic Ghost Rider, and I did post that video on my channel previously. But if you don't have him, any champion that has high amounts of burst damage can be very useful, because then you can pack in a bunch of damage during the time that you have the unstoppable buff active. Playing around the unblockable effect is a very important skill to get the hang of. If you don't want to deal with a special attack, then you can try to prevent him from throwing special attacks and then make him dash at you when he has 10 prowess. And when he dashes at you with 10 prowess, it's going to trigger the unblockable. And then if you wait out the unblockable effect, it goes on cooldown, then you can bait the special attacks. And that is a way to get around having to deal with unblockable specials if you're not able to dex a special one, for example. You could also bring in prowess control champions or power control champions, but ultimately I think the best thing to do is bring in your high damage dealing champions so that you can deal high bursts of damage during the unstoppable effect, or champions that have their own unstoppable effects, and then just trying to play around the unblockable. And the good thing is you can do this fight as many times as you want. I would practice on the middle lane that has no other fights, and you can just keep resetting it, practicing the dex the special one, practicing controlling his power, and baiting out the unblockable effect at the right time and the timing for your unstoppable effect. That way, when you go to do the rest of the paths, you'll be ready for the boss when the time comes. So I do hope that this video is helpful. Let me know what champions you used and what your thoughts of this fight were overall, and I do hope to see you in the next video.